like to have a little business to do because it keeps the band playing along. Is he going to start? No. Once upon a time, I'm going to tell a sea story. The way you can tell a sea story is it's a variant on Once Upon a Time. Only it starts off, this is no shit. That's how you know you're going to get a sea story. I just heard this one last weekend, and it was told about my friend Clem, who's this old kind of North Beach beatnik poet. I've known Clem a long time, and I'd never heard this story. But that's the thing about sea stories, you're not allowed to tell them about yourself. You have to tell them about somebody else. So Clem's friend Willie told this story about Clem. And I've only just heard it last weekend. But this is no shit. Clem used to like to ship out Merchant Marine when he needed some money. And they used to run ammunition and bombs and stuff over to Vietnam, run crazy cargo all over the Pacific. So Clem and his friend Willie were up in Vancouver, and they grab a freighter out of Vancouver, which is going to go down the coast, ultimately to Mexico, just picking up and discharging cargo the whole way. So you got the captain, you got Clem and Willie, you got a Samoan guy, and the rest of the crew is the dregs of the Merchant Marine. Guys with tattoos, you don't want to see any of them. They've caught a venereal disease in every port. But it's good to have a Samoan guy on your boat. So they're steaming south out of Vancouver, and the thing about the Pacific is it's just the swells are just constant. So if you're going north or south, you just roll the whole time. So they're rolling along, doing maybe 8 knots. There's nothing much going on. Albatross shows up. Now, I know an albatross is not mandatory in a sea story. But he did show up on this trip, and he's kind of integral to the story. So there's not much to do, so the albatross is watching them, and they're watching the albatross. Steaming along, rolling. The Samoan guy says, you know, I don't like the look of this water. Now, when a Polynesian guy says he doesn't like the look of the water, pay attention. So sure enough, they can see the seas are starting to build, so everybody starts scrambling. They're dogging stuff down, battening stuff down, lashing stuff like all good sailors do when they're far away at sea. According to Bob Dylan. So they're in the middle of all this, and a big wave comes up, sweeps 5 guys and a whole bunch of junk off the stern. They're in the water. Ah. But you can look, you can see there's a bunch of stuff they can grab onto and float around, so they're probably okay for a while. Now they got to get this wreck of a freighter turned around. So somebody says, let's put Clem in the lifeboat. You can kind of stay with him. So they throw Clem in the lifeboat, they lower him down. And he's got a couple of oars, but he shows up to Willie, hey, there's no oar locks in this boat. So Willie goes and scrambles around. Meanwhile, Clem's drifting off. Willie makes a miracle pitch. Got a couple of oar locks bundled together, gets him in the boat. They're the wrong size. The freighter's going this way. Nobody knows where the 5 guys are. Clem's in a boat with no oar locks. So he can paddle. It's good for going in circles. And he's beginning, the bad feelings are starting for Clem. He can see the freighter way over there. He's like, they're never going to find those guys. But he looks, and the albatross is circling. Clem says, I wonder, as he's sitting in his lifeboat. So sure enough, they get this freighter swung around, and they go over there, Meanwhile, the seas are. And Clem said, well, I think they might have got those guys. He said, but they're never gonna find me. He's feeling as low as you can feel. You know, every once in a while he gets up on the crest of a wave, you can see the freighter, then he disappears. He's like, wow, what was I thinking? And he looks up and the albatross is circling over him. He says, wow, I might have a chance here. And sure enough, they get this old rust bucket over where Clem is, except it's going like this. He's going like that. Finally, they get close together, like this, and just as they pass, Clem makes a leap for it, and he gets the rail. They drag him by, and the bow of the boat comes down and smashes the lifeboat. So they go down to Oakland, they tie up, they start discharging cargo, they go ashore, they have many drinks with the albatross.
As sailors do.
Drinking the health of the albatross. Clem decided to get a carpentry job. So he now lives 80 miles inland in Oregon. The ship sailed without them out under the Golden Gate Bridge and was lost at sea with all hands.
John Campbell, ladies and gentlemen.